the stories, the journey, the wild behind the scenes, and much more. I'm Dave Anthony, and I'm the host of From Garage to Stadiums. I want to talk about Nirvana's place in music history. Who have they influenced? Where will they be? What will they be remembered for?
Well, I like to draw a difference, a contrast between influence and inspiration. So Nirvana influenced a bunch of bands. Influence, by my definition, meaning shaped how these bands sound. So you get bands at that time like Everclear, Silverchair, Matchbox 20, Creed, Bush, Three Doors Down. Those are, there were a lot of Nirvana clone bands. But then you have people who Nirvana inspired. And Nirvana inspired like a really incredibly inventive band from the 2000s and 2010s and now today called Dirty Projectors, who sound nothing like Nirvana. They inspired a composer named Ty and Di Braxton, who does electronic music. Nothing like Nirvana. They inspired Lana Del Rey. They inspired the Avett Brothers, Radiohead. And that, I think, is something that Kurt would be really, really proud of. He was not interested in having bands clone his sound. He wanted to hear people doing their own thing. And if he inspired those people to do it, he would have been very, very proud. So that's the musical influence. But I think, Kurt was a very outspoken feminist and spoke out against homophobia and racism. And he really opened up that whole field for rock stars to speak out about that stuff. And that is, that's taken for granted today. But back then, I guarantee you didn't hear like the singer from Warrant railing against homophobia.
Yeah. Right.
That was mostly Kurt. And all the rock stars and pop stars after that can trace it back to him and, the changes in society in general. But he really pioneered that. And so that's a really, really huge influence, that they had on music culture.
And now if they kept going, if Kurt didn't unfortunately meet his end, what if they had kept going? I mean, they were starting to really, he was really into REM, for example. Do you think they would have went more in that direction? Michael Stipe, et cetera?
That's a parlor game. Who knows? Kurt could have gone in any number of directions. He could have done, a more Baroque, automatic for the people type of record. They had a cello on In Utero, and they brought a cellist on tour, and he might have wanted to expand in a more highly arranged, perhaps more acoustic direction. He might have stripped it down to acoustic guitar. He may have, just done a solo album. Who knows? But I know that he was growing weary of the standard rock band format. In fact, the working title of In Utero was Verse, Chorus, Verse, which was his, kind of sarcastic commentary on the formulaic nature of the songs he was writing. And he definitely wanted to explore new musical avenues.
That's interesting because when they did the Unplugged in New York, Unplugged MTV, they had, Chris was playing accordion at some points. They had I think a cellist in there.
Right.
And
lots of acoustic guitars.
Acoustic guitars would have been interesting to see where they evolved. I mean, would he have moved like the Beatles into more experimental territory?
Well, that's, many a band has done that. Talking Heads expanded their musical palette. Radiohead expanded their musical palette. The Beatles obviously expanded their musical palette. Like so many great bands, that's what they do. Other great bands keep doing the same thing over and over, AC/DC or the Ramones. And that's totally respectable too. But I get the sense, Kurt was so artistically restless. He loved to to tear things down that he did. He would tear down his own sculptures, and he kind of tore down his own music too. And he wanted to keep building and making new things. He was never satisfied. So I suspect, he might have gone some more highly arranged, more ambitious music. I don't know what form that would have taken.
Let's talk about some key, if you had to leave the audience with some key songs, thoughts they should give a listen to, re-listens, what would you say there are 3 songs they should give a listen to get a clue for this band?
Well, actually, one song that I think is wildly overlooked, and it's not really by Nirvana. It's by a band called The Jury, which Chris and Kurt formed with Mark Lanigan, the singer from Screaming Trees, and Mark Pickerel, who was then the drummer for Screaming Trees. And they vowed to record Leadbelly covers, Leadbelly being the amazing folk musician from the 30s and 40s, who sang Goodnight Irene and In the Pines, which Nirvana covered during the Unplugged show. And one of the songs that they covered was a Leadbelly song called Ain't It a Shame. Not the Fats Domino song, but it's a Leadbelly song. And that rocks like a hurricane. So great. And it's the only song, to my knowledge, that Kurt sings that's in a kind of standard rock and roll chord progression. And he just kills. It's so great. And it's absolutely kick ass. And that's on one of those rarities boxes. You can find it. But man, listen to that. That is killer. The Sliver single, that is such an important song in the Nirvana oeuvre, because it really talks about, it addresses Kurt's deepest desire, which was to be loved and to have that kind of feeling of warmth and this maternal, feeling of being loved that he missed. He was kind of rejected by his mother, early in his teens, and he just wanted that back. And so it's about the climax of the song is like he's back in his mother's arms after being stowed away at his grandparents for the evening. And that scream that he emits, at the end, the climax of the song it just says everything about him. And a third song also on one of these rarities records is called Do Re Mi. It's just a demo that he recorded, I think, on a boombox. It's just Kurt like sitting on his bed with a acoustic guitar. And it's about the pain of putting your soul into a song. And it's called Do Re Mi. And it is beautiful and heartbreaking, absolutely essential Kurt. I think maybe the best song he ever wrote. And wow. I would pay very close attention to that song.
Michael, those are 3 really thoughtful picks. And I really have enjoyed having you today. You're a thoughtful individual who can really give insights, and we really appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you for the great questions, Dave. You brought it out of me.